Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of SPR Weekly. How the weekly vlogs work is we just show you generally what's going on in the garage, what cars we've got coming in, what's wrong with them, show you a few fixes but nothing in great detail. So let's get straight on with it. I'm not going to mess about. First job we've got in is a new A-Class. Problem with this car is the lady is indicating and the wipers are going off, which isn't ideal when you just stick your indicator on and your wipers start going off at 100 miles an hour, and she's getting an error message on the dash. Now this is a really common fault with the latest A-Class, even the model before as well. In fact, it's just the indicator stalk, simple as that. But what these stalks don't come as a stalk, they come as a full control unit, so you got to replace the full thing. So you get a new control unit, a new stalk, a new gear selector and a new steering angle sensor, so it's like the full thing. But yeah, first job, that is it. Mercedes price these pretty reasonable considering everything you get. It does make it a little bit more straightforward to replace. I've done a couple of these and they seem to be getting more and more common. So if you've got no indicators, or you're putting your indicators on and your wipers are going off, it's a good chance that this could be at fault. Next up, we've got a Vito van. Needs a new blower resistor, and the reason we know that is because the heater was only working on speed 5, and what this part does is it regulates the voltage going to the blower motor. So for example, speed 1 is probably 3 volts, and then you've got speed 2 6, speed 3 9, speed 4 12, and speed 5 full power, which speed 5 bypasses this resistor. Now there's two ways of fitting this part, which I'll show you. Now there's two options. The heater resistor is underneath this trim, and underneath the trim is like a grid, a plastic grid, which stops you gaining access to it. So the option is you strip all this out, take all this out, radio, everything, to gain access, all this control panel, or you remove the top cover, cut yourself a little hole in the grid to be able to just get your fingers in to take it out and put it back in, which is how we do it basically. Obviously we get confirmation of the customer if that's how they want doing it. That's how everyone does it. You can research it all over the internet. It saves a lot of time and a lot of labour just to replace that simple part. So yeah, this is now all replaced, so I'll turn the ignition on, and we've now got speed 1 2 3 4 5. Nice easy fix. I'll take you around the car park, show you what else we've got. Quick car park tour. Got a CL63 AMG, which is having gearbox issues, having the very common gearbox conductor plate replaced. We've done plenty of videos on replacing those conductor plates. We'll show you a bit in brief, I think, on this weekly. But yeah, it's a nice colour, that. It's a nice car. Now this is quite a rare car. We've got an ML 420 diesel, which is a V8 diesel, twin turbo V8 diesel. Now this has also come in for a gearbox conductor plate, which has already been done. We're now just waiting for collection. Quite a rare car. As you can see, it's got the 63 AMG body kit on it, being the big V8 diesel. I wouldn't recommend buying an ML 420, and the reason being is, yeah, just checking, it is an ML 420. The reason being is parts are getting difficult to get for these cars. There's not that many of them around to begin with. They're difficult to work on, so access is quite limited in the engine bay. So repair and maintenance on them's quite expensive, and more parts are getting less and less available. For example, a glow plug control unit is no longer available for them. You can't buy one anymore from Mercedes. So the aftermarket brands, I'll say, are now charging a premium for them. So if you need a glow plug relay on this car, which is common, people are asking £1,000 for them. £1,000 for a glow plug relay. And to be honest, they don't drive that much better than the 320 V6, which is a really common engine, easier to work on, parts are more available, less things to go wrong. So yeah, although it's an unusual car, I probably wouldn't recommend buying one. If anyone's interested in one, I wouldn't bother. Either way, nice car, unusual, quite interesting I think. Inside the garage now, we've got C-Class Cabriolet, quite a nice car. We've got AdBlue problems, we've got no AdBlue fill level, and we've got the AdBlue counter counting itself down from 500 miles, so we've got about 400 left. A lot of people don't believe that counter. When that counter reaches 0, the car will not start. So we've had a look at it, we have tested the wiring going to the AdBlue pump, and it's looking like we need a new AdBlue level sensor, which is inside the AdBlue tank, which is quite an expensive job. So we're going to see if we can get approval on this, get the tank replaced. I think the tank's about £1,000, so we'll let you know what happens with this one. Alright, we're midway through changing the gearbox conductor plate. We've got the valve body out. We're in the process of changing the conductor plate over. Fluid that's come out of it is really dirty. This has definitely been neglected on gearbox servicing. We'll get the plate swapped over and then fresh fluid in, get it programmed. CL is all put back together, gearbox control units fitted, valve body, fresh filter, fresh oil. That desperately needed doing. That oil was quite bad. So now I've got the car on the battery support unit, keeping 13 volts to the car at all times while we program, because this can take a long time. It is 2:37, so we'll see how long it actually takes to program a car. People think it's like a 2-minute thing, and it's definitely not. So final stage now, program, get the fluid level correct, road test. Right, that is the CL all done. It's actually the next day. Programming took me over an hour. When I install these plates and I have to do the programming and the coding, it always seems to take an age. Anyway, it is now done. I can now engage gear with a smooth gear change, whereas before I was putting it into gear and it was slamming into gear in drive and reverse. We were stuck in second gear going down the road. So we've got a nice smooth gear change. One last thing to do is road test, and then that's this one done.
Many months later.
Don't know what to say. Right, so many weeks later, we are back filming the SPR weekly episode, which is no longer a weekly. We're going to change it to a monthly. My idea of filming more regular content with the new camera hasn't worked. I've just been far too busy. So we've got a new idea. What we're going to do is film bits and bobs of what go on through a month and post that video on the last Wednesday of every month, all being well. So you'll notice that what you've just watched already, the weather has changed massively from what we're doing today. So what's been going on in the last month we've not been filming? The first thing that's been going on is CL63 AMG that came in for a gearbox plate 4 or 5 weeks ago has now come back for additional work. So that just tells you how long we've not touched this camera for. That has left and has come back. It came back for a misfire and the suspension was all wonky. It needed 2 coil packs had failed. We replaced the spark plugs and 2 coil packs, and a suspension level sensor link had broken. we have got a new member of staff, Dan. Dan's been on the channel before. Dan works at the garage next door, which unfortunately is no longer in business. Dan has come from next door to us. We've kind of inherited him in a good way.
Yeah.
Dan does stock car racing and we've sponsored his car. So we've sponsored Dan's car, so we'll get some B-roll going on of that, and we'll keep you up to date on the monthly episodes how Dan's getting on with his racing. But so far so good while he's come to us. This brand newish couple-year-old GLC is in for a service. Actually got really nice interior in this. Well, I like it. Let us know in the comments if you do like it or not. Black with the brown. I quite like the GLCs. I think if I needed or wanted a new car, I think I'd probably have a GLC. Now I'm a dad, like a proper dad car. It'd probably have to be a 43 AMG or something, but I still quite like them. So that's that. I'll show you the first job I've done this morning outside. So this was my first job this morning, C-Class 205, and the command unit screen, I'll call it, that displays your radio, your sat nav, etc, etc. Wasn't displaying properly. It had different patches of lines and stuff. It was a bit like an old telly not tuned in type of thing. Couple of causes for that. It can be the command unit itself, or if you're lucky it can be software. The software update on this takes about 2 hours. We've done that this morning and luckily it's fixed the problem. This car's actually come from another garage, so if you are having this problem with your car, it's the C-Class, the E-Class, the GLC, pretty much the majority of them with this similar setup. It's always worth getting the software done first before you commit to a new control unit, which is going to come with new software on, which will still cure your problem when you can update the software on your old one. A bit like a PC or an iPhone update. But yeah, that's fixed it. 2 hours later and it's fixed it. Unfortunately, if it doesn't fix it, you've still got to pay the fee, but in my opinion it's well worth it. It's probably saved the customer £1,000. So if you have one of these and you're experiencing anything like that, get yourself booked in the main dealer and get it updated, or a Mercedes specialist, but they have to have the genuine online Zentree diagnostics machine in order to do it. A generic machine won't do it because it's all online and stuff like that. But job done. Got a nice 202 C-Class we'll get in this afternoon, which is having a few bits and bobs. You don't see many of these anymore. It's quite a nice car, sport model. It's got the 2.3 supercharged engine, might be a 2-litre one. Oh, it's debadged. One of the two. We'll show you a bit more around that. Also, in the last month, I have treated myself. I don't treat myself often, but I bought some new wheels for my car. They aren't an aftermarket wheel, they are a genuine E63 wheel. They came on the 5.5 litre version of my car in the pre-facelift and the facelift. I always fancied a set with the silver rim. I thought it would improve the look of my car. Anyway, they're really expensive, but I found a set for a reasonable price. So bought them, put them on. Tell me what you think in the comments. Original wheels or these wheels. But you can have those wheels on this car. They are the proper wheels. Not the ones my car left the factory with, but I like them. But it'd be interesting to know everyone else's opinion on that. What else has been happening? Now the cold weather is finally disappearing slowly. We have new merchandise, beanie hats. Some beanie hats for the summer. So we finally got some beanie hats. That probably should have been our first product we did because they're nice and cheap. The weather's getting warmer and now we've got winter hats. So if you want a hat, you can buy one on our website. Right, we're all closed up for dinner. Treated the boys today to a pizza because yesterday we had a bit of a emergency, I'll say. One of our loan cars, the key went faulty on the customer and he couldn't get the car started to bring his car back to the garage. I had to leave work early for other reasons, and so two of the boys had to take his car to his house in rush hour at 6 o'clock and bring our smart car with the spare key back to work. So I've treated all the boys to pizza today, having a bit of a laugh on the PlayStation and what have you. The point of telling you that was things go wrong with our cars as well. Can't be helped. One of those things. Customer wasn't too happy about it, but what can I do? Well, the only thing I can do is go and get the car the spare key and swap the cars around, which is exactly what we did, but obviously a massive disturbance for everybody. But yeah, just to prove a point that our cars go wrong as well. Nice simple job next is filling up AdBlue. The reason I'm filming this is because it's quite a good bit of advice what I'm going to tell you. So these early models don't have an AdBlue gauge on the dash like your fuel filter. Really, you don't know where's full and where's not, and it's very important not to overfill AdBlue. When we're filling up these older models, we get it up on the diagnostics and it gives us a gauge, and you always want an air pocket at the top of the AdBlue tank, and that allows air to be in the tank to assist the AdBlue coming out. Otherwise you can fill it to the brim and you kind of get an airlock, if you like. So Nathan's put 10 litres in. I'll show you on the screen here. The blue box is our fill level. It was down here, and you want to keep it in the green. So yellow is maximum and red is over full. So there's probably a 2 to 5 litre leeway at the top. So never overfill your AdBlue. It's difficult to fill up your AdBlue on the older vehicles that don't have a gauge. Don't fill it to the brim. Just put 10 litres in, so then you've always got a nice air pocket at the top of the tank. If you do overfill AdBlue, it can cause problems. It can cause engine management lights, AdBlue issues, because like I say, you haven't got an air pocket in there to get the AdBlue system working properly. Other news, my CLK 55 has not only had its 21st birthday last year, it has now just gone over 100,000 miles. So now the weather's getting better, we'll get it out and use it. Good looking car, isn't it?
Yeah, love it.
I actually love this car. It's such a good looking car for its age. I think it's just aged so well. I mean, 21 years old and it still looks good. You get all the windows down, visibility is really good, sounds good, looks good. Surprise, surprise, got no fuel in it. Typical AMG. Get it to the petrol station, get some fuel in it and enjoy it in this nice weather. Right, next up I have got an SL350. Quite a nice SL350, very low mileage. One of the headlamp bulbs isn't working. Now, most of you'd say, can you not just put a bulb in it, and why do you need to keep the car? Well, the reason is, as many of you will know, this has a xenon bulb. One, we don't stock the bulbs, and two, it might not be the bulb. So we always ask the car to be dropped off so we can carry out some testing. So in this situation, I think it's the driver's side is not illuminating. We've got no error messages on the dash. So we need to determine, is it the bulb or is it a control unit? So the first thing we're going to do is swap the bulb left to right to make sure the fault transfers, if that makes sense. And then we know it's a bulb. If that's not the case, we will then have to swap the headlamp control unit left to right to determine which control unit is faulty and not powering the bulb. In order to do that, we'd have to take the front bumper off and potentially remove the headlamps. The reason I'm showing you this straightforward-ish job is we get quite a few complaints of, oh, why can't you just do this, why can't you just do that, I don't want to leave my car, it's only a bulb. So let's get involved and I'll show you what we find. So as you can see, driver's headlamp is not illuminating at all. Passenger is, so we need to swap that bulb for that bulb to see if the fault transfers. If it does, good to go and it's just a bulb. If not, we need to move on. Another reason why we always ask you to leave the cars when we're looking at xenon bulb issues is, if you come and have a look over here, is access. The headlamps here, got an ABS pump in our way. So how do we access the bulb? Took the wheel arch liner out, all the nuts and bolts out, and then I can finally get the wheel off. I can finally get in the back there, that's where the bulb is. This is why we ask for labour investigation when it comes to stuff like this, because to just even get the bulb out, we've got to get all this out. I'm hoping I've got a second-hand spare I can use to test, because I don't want to do all this on the other side if I can help it. We fitted a second-hand bulb, which has obviously cured the problem. It's an Osram bulb that's come out. We'll always replace for like brands. So the genuine Mercedes one is Osram. The reason we will stick to the same brand or genuine is because of the colour. When we replace xenon bulbs, we'll always ask the customer would they like a pair or not. And the reason being is the colour of a xenon bulb changes the older it gets. So we have had complaints in the past. We've fitted a brand new bulb, it's nice and clear and white, and the other one's a bit purpley, got a bit of a blue tinge to it. We'll give the option out and see what they want to do. We'll price up a Mercedes one, we'll price up an Osram one, let you know the difference and how much does this cost to fit a bulb basically. We've spoke to the customer. Customer has opted for an Osram bulb over the Mercedes one, which I don't blame him because it's the same bulb. This one was £80 plus VAT. Mercedes one was 180, so straight away we're £100 better off, and we're sticking for like. We asked the customer would he like a pair. He said no, just do the one, which is fair enough because this isn't a cheap job. Right, that's the SL all done. Nice and straightforward-ish. Obviously replacing a bulb on a xenon vehicle hopefully has educated everyone that it's not as simple as just whipping one out and whipping one in. So if a garage says look, we'd like to keep the car for some testing, it's actually a good thing. Never presume it's just the bulb. In this case it is, which I'm glad about because I'd hate it to be a control unit for the customer. Luckily I had a used spare bulb, which is good for testing. The reason I have a spare is because when customers do approve a pair, I'll keep the good one to reduce the testing time for you guys if possible. Glad I didn't have to do it on the other side, so job done. Right, me and Nathan are on the way to, just eating my dinner as well. Me and Nathan are on the way to have a look at a potential project car for the channel. We've been lacking a bit in projects recently and we've not had any customer projects going on. All the work we've had in has been in and out constantly. So we've been struggling for some in-depth footage, I'll say. So I thought, well, we'll have a search for our own project. See what we can find. So anyway, we found something on Facebook Marketplace, which is quite local. It's actually 10 minutes from us, so we thought it'd be worth a look. So we're on our way to look at it. I'm not going to say too much at the moment in case we don't buy it. We'll let you know what happens when we get there. Hello. So we've been to look at the car. The car in question was a 209 CLK convertible. We obviously didn't want to film at the fella's property, and we've done a deal. It's obviously a project car. We're taking a bit of a gamble on it. It's not in the overall best condition. It's undrivable, so we can't even drive it back. I don't want to reveal too much because it's going to be on a separate video, but yeah, deal done. So new project coming to the channel soon. Prices will be revealed and car will be revealed. Well, you know what it is already. CLK convertible. It's kind of, it is what it is kind of car. So fingers crossed we've got a good purchase. Next up we have a 203 203 C-Class, 275,000 miles, good customer. Key goes in, ignition lock comes off, ignition comes on, turn the key, nothing. So let's get it in and do some testing. We're short staffed today. There's 2 members of staff off, so I'm pushing on my own. Alright, there we go. So 275,000 miles, doing all right. C220, ignition, no start. So we've either got a starter motor issue, starter relay issue, starter signal line issue. We're not sure. So we'll do some tests. This is why it's very important to carry out testing and not presume anything. So do some basic tests first, check the relay, check the back of the starter motor, make sure when we turn the key to the start position, it's getting 12 volts at the back of the starter motor. I'm hoping it's something straightforward because this customer's just had a service and MOT a couple of weeks ago and now this has happened. So he's already spent a few quid. So this is the front fuse box. I think one of them's the starter relay in there. I'm going to get the relay diagram up to be sure because I can't remember every relay on every car. Take the relay out and test it. If the relay is good, we will go to the start signal which comes out of it to see if it's sending a signal to the starter motor. Right, we've got the diagram up for the relays and it's relay S. Relay S says starter relay. So that's the relay. Simple test, we've just got to replace that with another one in the car that is for something else. Well, we'll replace it for I. I is the same relay and I is for the horn. Well, make sure the horn works first. Yeah, so we know that relay is good, so we'll put that relay in the starter relay position. I'll leave that there for now as our faulty one. Right, on, ignition. What do you reckon? No, nothing. Nothing. So to confirm, we'll put the starter relay in the horn. Yeah, so it's not that. Right, let's make sure the relay's clicking when we go to start position. No, relay's not clicking. So let's see if it's fused. Fuse 52, 15 amp is the starter fuse. We have a blown fuse. Right, why do we have a blown fuse is the next question. That's a 20 amp fuse and according to the diagram it should be a 15. I do remember back in the day them upping the amperage of the fuse, but maybe I've got it wrong and they lowered the amperage. So that'll explain why our relay is not clicking. So we'll put another fuse in, see if it starts, but then that doesn't explain why the fuse is blown. Let's find out. I'm going to put a 15 amp in it. Right, okay. We've got a blown fuse. Engine's running. We've got a blown fuse. That doesn't explain why we've got a blown fuse. What we're going to have to do now is keep testing and keep testing to see if that fuse blows again. I'll put a little bit of Tipex on it so everybody knows which fuse it is. I was hoping it would be more of a involved. What was that? I've never heard a hiccup like that before. Sounded like a cartoon mouse. I thought that was going to be a bit of a more involved diagnostics, but not the case. We'll keep testing this and we'll come back to it.
Ask me questions.
What are you doing?
Today, I'm changing the rocker cover. Changing the rocker cover because it's leaking oil. Very common on the 651. Customer wants it changing, so we're doing it.
What we're doing?
The rocker cover because it's leaking oil, and the customer wants it changing.
But that's not our only oil leak, is it?
No.
What's our other one?
The oil filter housing, which is fed by coolant and oil. That will be getting changed later on in the video, but for now we're just sticking to the rocker cover.
And Dan's top tip of the day is he's used an old pollen filter to put his bolts in. Good idea that, to be fair, I've never seen that before. Have you told them what you did your first week starting at the garage?
What did I do?
2-footed the oil bucket.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure that'll be shown soon on the weeklies.
Dan's first week at the garage, he he slipped on the floor and absolutely two-footed the oil bucket all over the place.
Second time.
If it was five-a-side, it'd have been a good tackle.
That's twice in 9 years. I've never done that before. Like, not like that. I've only just, you know, had a bit on me or whatever.
It's all right, mate.
No, but that was just ridiculous as well.
We've said this loads of times on the channel before. The reason we replaced the plastic rocker cover is, one, we don't know if it's warped or not. So if we just change the gasket, there is a slight chance it could still leak. And two, we're replacing the PCV valve at the same time, which is on top of the rocker cover. So that is the PCV valve as well. It's a 3-in-1 job. Gasket, rocker cover, we don't know it's warped. PCV valve, it's good while you're in there going forward.
That famous saying, good while you're in there.
While you're in there, t-shirts coming soon. Right, day later, the high mileage C220 is still starting. It has not blown the fuse again. We've checked wiring, we've checked wiring to the starter motor, we've not got any shorts or anything like that. Starter motor sounds really healthy. It's nice and fast. So I've had to give the customer the option with this. We can either return to the customer, see how he gets on. I've marked the fuse up, so if it blows again, he can replace it to get himself going again. It's always awkward when we have to put customers in this situation, because I hate giving a car back to a customer without an explanation of what's happened. Obviously the fuse is blown, but why it's blown, I just don't know. The other option is we replace the starter motor and return it to the customer and hope that cures the problem. Obviously if it kept blowing on us, that's what we would do after checking wiring, but we've got no shorts, we've got no bad earths. I'm happy with how it sounds, it starts up perfectly. Conversation with the customer's happy to try it. Sometimes things like this happen and we've got to just return it and give our best explanation we can. I've probably started it 50 times easy. I've started it from cold numerous times. I've gone out on a road test, got the car to full operating temperature, turned off, started up, over and over again. Another one fixed, just get it back out to the customer. Just checking back in on Dan where he's up to. He's got the old oil cooler out, the new one is fitted. We also replace the fuel filter housing as a while you're in there. Very, very common coolant leak. No extra labour to fit while we're doing this job. We have done an in-depth video on this job before, so we'll leave a link for that below if anyone's interested in what goes on. Very, very common. So yeah, he's making good progress. How are you finding your first oil cooler on a 651, Dan?
Interesting. Well, it's one of them. It's just fiddly. It's just does something different.
It's not easy, is it?
No.
Access is terrible.
I guess when you've done a few of them, the speed will be quicker. But when you're working like now, it's just it's like spaghetti junction.
When we tell customers how much this job is, they're really surprised at the cost. Dan's been a mechanic 10 years. He's never done this particular job before, and that just lets you know that it's not an easy task. There's not much room down there at all. So we'll get this one done. Like I say, I'll leave a link below for a more in-depth video that we've already done on that job. And we'll see what else is coming in. Right, next up we have CLK, the 271 engine. It has failed its MOT on emissions. This car's only done 32,000 miles, which is pretty much nothing, is it? But I thought I'd show you why it's failed its emissions, because this is a really common issue on this engine and definitely something to look out for if you are buying one of these with this engine. Now, we've got no engine management light on the dash. The car runs perfectly fine, no issues at all. Like I say, really low mileage car, you wouldn't expect any issues. We've plugged it in and we've got an O2 sensor fault, basically a lambda sensor issue. So we'll take you underneath the car, get to the lambda sensor first. and it'll make sense what I'm talking about. So here's the lambda sensor. This is the aftercat lambda sensor. Now what this does is this sniffs the exhaust gases, I'll say, in the exhaust and adjusts the mixture of the fuel accordingly. Now, we've got a fault with that sensor, so that is giving the engine ECU bad information and creating the wrong mixture in the engine, which has made it fail its emissions. Now, really common fault on this, we've already unplugged it. You can see there's oil on the end of the plug. So basically, engine oil is getting into the wiring loom, working its way round, and you can see in there, it's worked its way round, and it always works its way to the lowest point of the wiring loom, the lambda sensor, which is right down the bottom of the car. Oil gets in there, works its way down, and basically it's reading the wrong values because it's got oil contamination in the plug. What we've done is, or what you need to do is, we've unplugged the upstream lambda sensor. So we've unplugged the upstream one, and you can see that's nice and dry. So this, I would say, is at the early stages of the oil leaking into the loom, because usually it would contaminate both plugs. Now we'll go back up to the top of the car and I'll show you where it leaks from and how bad it can actually get. So back under the bonnet, this is where it leaks from. If you look here, these cam shaft magnets which plug into here, it leaks internally from the engine through that magnet and into that plug. So you can see where there's bits of oil residue around it. If I unplug these will probably have, well, they will have oil in it. It's a tiny residue of oil, and believe it or not, that goes in and works its way around and literally follows its way around the loom very slowly over many years, and eventually gravity kicks in, pulls it down to that lambda sensor. Check this one. Look at, oh yeah, it's leaking right out the back. So that plug's quite bad. So to stop the leak occurring, you need to replace these magnets. To get the oil out of the loom properly, you should replace the full wiring loom. However, you can fit like a pigtail loom which will plug into here and plug in a piece which will then reconnect to there. But then you've still got oil in your loom. It will work its way out eventually, but it will keep contaminating your lambda sensor. I have even seen it get that bad that it can work its way around to the air mass sensor. In this occasion, it's nice and dry. It's a good test, that probably. If you are buying one of these or interested in one, you could just open the bonnet and unplug that air mass sensor and have a check if there's any contamination in there. That's an extreme case. The worst I've ever seen is it actually contaminates the engine ECU plugs and fills the engine ECU with engine oil as well. I've seen that happen quite a few times. It's considered quite mild at this point. Definitely something to look out for. That's why it's failed its emissions. Like I say, this car's only done 30,000 miles-ish, 32,000 miles. Even though you're buying a low mileage car, you can still inherit these problems. It's also failed on 2 suspension arms as well, even though it's such low mileage. I will grab one of the pigtails to show you how that works. So once you've replaced these magnets on the front, you can plug that in and then plug the original harness into there, so it gives you a clean part of loom. But like I say, once the oil is in the loom, it's in there. So what I'd recommend is, it doesn't sound good this, but to try and save the wiring loom, it's always going to work its way down to that lambda sensor. Once you've stopped it leaking, best thing you can do is every service is unplug it, have a look at it, clean it, let it dry, plug it back in until eventually it stops coming out, and then you know you've done the best you can. Or you can just go ahead, replace the full wiring loom, new magnets. I'd probably recommend fitting those as well, and that's it. Very common on the 271 engine. It also used to happen on the older version of the 4-cylinder engine, which was the 111 engine. So Mercedes didn't learn from the design of these magnets. It's still happening. Unfortunate really, but that is the reason why this car's failed its emissions. We need to have a chat with the customer and see what they want to do. So unfortunately we wasn't able to revive the original lambda sensor, so we have had to go ahead and do the full job. So we've fitted the cam magnets, like a piggyback loom to give it a bit of an extension, and a lambda sensor. So what we're doing now is we're getting the car up to temperature. The self-adaptation values are too high because of the old sensor. So what we want to do now is give it a good road test, get it up to operating temperature, and I would rather watch that value come back down into tolerance, just so we know the emissions is going to be right. But what we are going to do is we're going to ask the customer to return in probably 4 weeks time, unplug the lambda sensor again, see if any oil has come back. If it has, obviously clean it off. But yeah, really nice CLK this, only done 32,000 miles, really good. So I hope that all makes sense. But yeah, another one done, very common fault, 271 engines. Right, next we have a C63 facelift. Customer complaint is when he floors it, ABS ESP light comes on and the car goes into limp mode. He switches off, switches on, clears the fault until he floors it again. Let's plug it in, see what's going on. One for the C63 boys this. I've plugged the car in and I've got an accelerator pedal fault code. So there wasn't really much to show you. This isn't uncommon on any Mercedes, especially of this era. So 204s, 212s, 207s, pretty sure they all share the same accelerator pedal, so it's not actually C63 specific this. I do have to go out and experience the fault myself because I want to experience it, get the car to do its fault so I can experience the customer's complaint, and then when I fit a new part, i.e. the throttle pedal, I can do the same tests to confirm I've fixed it. So unfortunately I've got to go out in a C63 and boot it, basically full throttle. Yeah, so that's a shame, isn't it? I've got to go out and full throttle a C63 AMG, so I'll let you know what happens when I get back. What are you doing now? Oh, right, okay. Right, that's the throttle pedal replaced on the C63. As you can see, it comes as a complete unit. The throttle sensor is on the side. You can't replace that separate, you have to replace the full thing. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to replicate the customer's complaint. Give him the option of replacing it for a new one, which he's gone ahead with. Cleared all the codes, road tested again, all good. So I am just going to keep that to one side just in case, but that is a common fault on most Mercs of that era, so that's one to look out for. Right, C63 with a bad misfire. We've been here before on the channel. Can be simple, can be extremely bad. First things first, let's plug it in, see what cylinders are misfiring, and do some tests. This car's done 60,000 miles, so that's in really good condition. When you have a misfire, obviously your engine runs rough, shakes, spluttering, if anyone's wondering what a misfire is. And generally your engine management light will flash on and off, on and off. I'm hoping it's just something straightforward. 2 C63s in today. We usually get inundated with them as the weather gets better. In fact, I've had a lot of people comment saying, in some of last year's weeklies, saying less AMG content, more normal stuff. But I can't help what comes through the door. Anyway, let's see what's going on. Still got a misfire. We've changed the coil packs, made no difference whatsoever. So we're now going to concentrate on the other codes we've got. And we've also got a code for the right hand exhaust cam adjuster It's like the timing's out. So what we're going to do is the cam sensor for the right hand exhaust camshaft, we're going to change that first. I think I've got a spare, so I'll just swap it rather than ideally you'd swap left to right to see if the fault transfers from bank to bank. But luckily I have a few spares just to save time. No. So we still have a misfire. Right, we're coming to the end of the month. We want to get the monthly video out the last Wednesday of every month. So we're going to wrap it up there. To give everybody a bit of an update with what's going on and what's coming up, going to do a separate video on this C63. We was going to include it in the monthly, but it's turned to be a slightly more involved job, so we're going to actually do a separate video on it. As we showed previously, we've bought a CLK project. We've actually bought a couple of projects, but only revealed one in this monthly, because we're obviously just going to try to do one at a time. So make sure you like and subscribe and press the notification bell, and then you'll get notified of when our upcoming videos are coming. So we've got one coming on this, possibly one coming soon on our CLK. Just looking in the car park, but I don't want to turn the camera around and give too much away. We've got some good ideas, and we've got some good videos coming. We've not been doing any videos for the last couple of months. We've just been so busy, we've been struggling, to be honest. So thank you everybody who's messaged and said, where's the videos? We're missing the videos. I appreciate the support, even though there's been none. We've not been posting anything. If you've not bought our merchandise, make sure you get on our shop online, buy some merch, and we'll see you on the next one.